This is the Wholesome Orator, faith, food, lessons learned, Black Greek life. Thanks for returning. Welcome if it's your first time. Let's begin. All right, welcome. Today we're making French press coffee. Of course, you see I like aged Sumatra from Pete's. I usually order Pete's online. There are a few grocery stores that sells it here, but it's like once you look on the side and see when it was made, when it was roasted, then you realize it's been in the store for quite some time. And so when you order Pete's on online and you get it, they make it in California, like whatever day that they ship it out, or maybe the day before, and then they ship it to you. And so by the time I get it on the East Coast, it's maybe a week old instead of a month old. And it tastes better. I mean, it tastes fresher that way, and you can use it for longer. But you have to buy it by the pound if you buy it offline. So what you see me doing here is I measure out 8 grams per day for maybe 12, 16 ounces of coffee. And that's what I'm doing here. I used to grind up, you see that's 19 grams. And I'll lose a little bit of it in the little grinding apparatus. So I put a little bit more in there so that it will be 8 grams per day. And I've had real good luck with the Hamilton Beach grinder. You notice I have it all the way down to coarse to the left, and that's where it should be. But like I said, when you make your own coffee, you can change things a little bit. There's like a couple of notches before you get to medium. So one might put it over like one more notch if they really like really strong coffee or whatever. But that's how that works. And only thing that I don't like about this particular grinder, after a while, the lid started sliding on me. And so I have to hold my hand. I have to put it down, lock it into place, and hold it, cause it'll vibrate and turn off. And I didn't. So at the bottom, you have different amounts of coffee. It'll be like 2 cups. No, I think it's up to 4 cups. Up to 4 cups, and then like maybe 10 cups. 15 cups or whatever. And so that's how you know what to put it on. Okay, I put that down, I lock it into place. But if I was to let go, it would vibrate and essentially turn itself off. So that's the only downfall that I found for this particular grinder. But I love it. I haven't had any other problems with it. And I only make coffee 5 times a week or something. So, if I was using it for commercial use or something, that's a whole nother deal. I wouldn't want to hold it if I got a whole bunch of other stuff going on or catering or something like that. So then I made enough coffee for 2 days. I used to do it fresh every day, but 24 hours old isn't like, I can't really tell the difference in the freshness. So I take this little container that, you can buy these containers at wholesale places or restaurant places, and or get some Chinese food or something, or some takeout, and then you'll have that. So I went ahead and did that 8 ounces. I mean that 8 grams, and from there take the 8 grams and put it into the French press, and of course the rest of it I'll put into that plastic container and put a lid on it and leave it for tomorrow. So this is a Budum, I think that's how you say it, French press that I got. I don't remember how much it cost. I'd say somewhere between $20 and $30. But I have cracked them before. So what I do is when I'm done with it, I end up just leaving it on the counter dirty. And then it cools, because what I've done before is I'll go to wash it. Everything looks fine. I'll come home from work and there's a crack in it. And so, like I said, I've gone through 3 of these. This is my 3rd one. And the first 2 cracked within 2 months of having them. This one right here I've had for a year at least. So, I obviously extreme heat and cool really does something to glass. But even when I thought it was cool, and even after I've washed it, it still ended up cracking after I walked away from everything. So yeah, I would suggest, if you're not making it at work or something and you're at home, just leave it dirty and let it sit and cool for a couple of hours before you wash it or put it in a dishwasher. The good thing about it is I have 3 plungers, so I don't have to wash the plungers every day, because I keep buying the same thing. I saw a metal one. I think it was like ceramic and metal, and that would really work. I would assume. The problem is, like, I would think that maybe the taste of the metal would get into the coffee or something, but it just could be me. And I typically pour water and grinds and stuff like that over the sink, but just for the video, I just went ahead and did it while I had the light right there. Cause you pour over the sink, whatever just splashes, or if you miss it or something, it just goes in the sink. So the plunger, it has a notch in it, so you just kind of line up the notch and then push it down flat. Some people go ahead and plunge it. I think that's what the instructions say, but I don't do that. I just leave it up right there and just kind of swirl it around. That's not necessary, but it makes sense to me. So I just let it seep for 3 minutes. And from there, we just kind of move on, and pour it into the cup that you're going to use. But I don't plunge it until I'm ready to pour it out. So doesn't make that big of a difference, but I believe that it makes a difference, because you don't necessarily do tea like that. And speaking of tea, you can also use a French press for a loose tea, and that way you don't have to have any kind of apparatus. I've used loose tea in one of those little seeping balls before. Some people use the little bags for loose tea and things like that. But it's, in my opinion, it's better to just put the boiling water into a French press like you would do coffee. And coffee is less finicky than tea. Of course, tea, you're going to be like watching it for 3-4 minutes and then pouring it out. With coffee, you can let it sit 10 minutes and it'll be all right. And the amounts that I use, the 8 grams, that's just what is good for my taste buds. You can change a lot of things, maybe get it less coarse. Now for a French press, it has to be coarse, but you can change it 1 or 2 notches over and still be fine. And if you want it a little bit stronger, use less water or more coffee. And I weigh stuff, so you keep weighing it until you get the taste that you want, and then the ingredients and amount of ingredients that you need. As far as the amount of water, I use bottled water, which is 16.9 ounces. And so I boil a bottle of water every day. And then because I do it every day, I know where to stop the water when I'm pouring it. Yeah, I know when to stop. So pretty much I have the same flavor of coffee every single day. And I encourage you to try this at home, because once you try it at home and get exactly what flavor you want, and even if you put creamer or sugar in it, just weigh everything so that that perfect cup of coffee can be something that you enjoy every day. But as I was saying, when you do it every day, when you end up going to a coffee house, it's just not the same. And, it's more expensive to go out. But beyond that, you don't get the perfect coffee for your taste. You can do an Americano, and that's very similar in taste, which is espresso and hot water. But that's probably the closest you're going to get to the perfect cup of coffee for whatever your particular taste is. But thanks for watching this, and I'll see you later. Take care.